Perhaps the government is trying to set the record straight. So what happens to those other, let's now say we're trying to do it the way it is done in other parts of the world, following standard practice in your own language. What about ADC and the Sosoliso Airlines? Are we likely to revisit them and say, okay, we made a mistake in time past by not following due process. Let's go back to the books and see what we can do about these two?
Well, as I speak with you, we don't have any records of those airlines indicating their intentions to come back into operations. If those airlines do, declare their intentions to come back, technical audit, rigorous technical and financial audit of the operations will be conducted. And if it's found satisfactory, why not? They can come back to operate again.
Through the dailies today, one of the reactions we saw, especially on the front page of the Vanguard, was that the airline, Dana Air, said they were not aware that their ban had been lifted. Is that true?
Well, I will speak for Dana Air, but I speak for the Aviation Ministry. What I can tell you is that the temporary suspension of the operating license of Dana Air has been lifted. I think the spokesperson for Dana, has a better answer to that. But the most important thing is that the suspension has been lifted.
Since you speak for the ministry, can you confirm that the ministry has told them?
Yeah, the ministry has told them, but if they have not gotten the communication, I wouldn't know why.
All right, but
the ministry has written officially.
You say the government is not under any pressure, and so and the government did not make any mistake. And then people ask, how come? Is it a coincidence? Air Nigeria folds up, the license for Dana Air is lifted.
Chamberlain, well, you can call it a coincidence, but our decision was never and was not influenced by the folding up of Air Nigeria. They made their own business decision to fold up. It has nothing to do with our lifting the suspension of Dana Airline.
All right, then. Assuming Dana Air gets back its operations, what's the standard procedure? If they were to change their name, are they supposed to inform the ministry? And if that happens, does the ministry inform Nigerians? Because I've heard people saying, who knows, I may just decide not to go with them anymore.
Well, I wouldn't want to jump the gun. If what we are interested in is that if any airline wants to come into operation, what is needed professionally will be done. There will be an audit, there will be an inspection, there will be certification. So for whatever reason, if Dana decides to change its name, that's within their own jurisdiction. But what I'm saying is, once an airline applies to obtain a license to operate a commercial flight in Nigeria, the professional thing to be done is to carry out inspection, do certification and all that. So certification will be done whether it is Dana Air or whether it is Chamberlain's Air and all that. So we don't really want to know whether somebody wants to change the name of his or her airline. What we're interested in is that whoever is coming to operate must meet the specifications and the requirements and must pass the NCC inspection and certification before they're allowed to operate.
Can you confirm to us that, everybody who is affected, the families of the victims of the June 3rd air crash, have been properly taken care of in terms of compensation?
Well, as you know, the issues of compensation, they take quite a while because a lot of documentation and verification is required. And as we speak, that process of verification of claims by families and next of kin of the victims is ongoing. And I'm aware that for those that have satisfied all the requirements, the claims have been paid.
Well, now that you're here being the special assistant to the Aviation Minister, let's quickly ask you about your road show that has been making headlines. Bring us up to speed on that particular road show and why you decided to embark on that road show.
Well, Solomon, thank you very much for that. Well, we are all aware that there is a huge infrastructural deficit in the aviation sector in Nigeria. And in order to bring the infrastructure up to speed, in order to have a world-class airport, world-class facilities at our airports, we needed to do something. And what we needed to do was to make sure that we look for investors, because government does not have all the funds to build the kind of airports that, we really tell about the kind of people that we are, because you will agree with me that the airports that we have in Nigeria today do not truly represent the Nigerian character. They don't tell the full story of whom we are. So we needed to do something about that, and as we are aware, government does not have all the funds, so we needed to go out to look for investors. I have heard a lot of people talking about putting up whatever you have on the web, and they are allowing investors to come in. We are talking about investment that runs into hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't expect an investor to go to the website, pick up something, and then the next minute is running after you. So we just needed to go there. And don't also forget that a lot of stuff also go into the web written by our colleagues in the media about the operating environment in Nigeria. So most times you really need to come face to face with this investor to tell them that most of the things they read about the operating environment in Nigeria is not correct. And most importantly, we needed to tell them the huge opportunities for investment that exist in the Nigerian aviation industry. And that's why we embarked on the tour. And I can tell you that it was a huge success. And in the weeks and months to come, you begin to see the fruit of that endeavor.
Well, at the moment, is the ministry satisfied with the operations of the existing airlines?
Well, I wouldn't know. That question is relative. The fact is, any airline that is still flying today is airworthy. I think that is what I have to say.